Good evening. Welcome. It's nice to see so many friendly faces. As always, the video of this meeting is streamed on YouTube and will also be available on Facebook and the Village website. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask Clerk Saladino to call the roll.
Trustee Augustine.
Here.
Trustee Gale.
Here.
Trustee McGee. Trustee O'Brien.
Here.
Trustee Peterson. Trustee Thompson. President Kugler.
Here. And Trustee Peterson and Trustee Thompson indicated that they had family commitments and were not able to attend tonight. Thank you, everybody else, for attending. At this time, I'd invite you to stand and ask Clerk Saladino to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item under the President's report is a little bittersweet. A resolution of appreciation on the retirement of our general utility worker, Milovan Gojic, after 25 years of service. So Milo, we really appreciate all of your efforts. Milo retired on June 30th, 2025 from the Grange Public Works Department. He started his career in 2000 as a general utility worker and worked on a variety of tasks, including countless water and sewer main repairs, flooding, and weather emergencies. Milo is a certified arborist and was a key participant in our annual Arbor Day tree planting ceremony with the local schools. He's well known for leading the singing of Happy Birthday for our newly planted trees, and I have a feeling we may be able to talk him into singing for us tonight. He's also worked closely with the Grange Garden Club on their annual spring and fall flower planting programs. Milo is well known for his excellent customer service, which included supporting the village at the village board meetings. Beyond singing Happy Birthday, he shared the gift of his voice in singing opera, as well as the national anthem. On the occasion of celebrating and recognizing general utility worker Milovan Gojic for his 25 years of outstanding service, I'll read this proclamation of appreciation and then invite him to share a few words. And again, if we get lucky, maybe a song. Whereas Milo joined the Grange Public Works Department as a general utility worker in January of 2000. And whereas he reliably served the village and the Department of Public Works in all manner of duties, including the maintenance of village water and sewer systems, the conservation of our urban canopy, and the beautification of the village through the annual flower planting. And whereas he has operated as a dependable member of the Department of Public Works, always ready to impart knowledge and lend a helping hand to his colleagues. And whereas his commitment to public service and his love for Grange is reflected in his attention to detail and exemplary customer service skills. And whereas his good humor, dedication, and commitment to the excellence throughout his 25 years of service to the citizens of Grange is truly admirable. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the village president, village clerk, and the board of trustees of the village of Grange do hereby express their sincere gratitude and deepest appreciation to general utility worker Milovan Gojic for his 25 years of service, loyalty, and dedication to the village. And we do want to convey our best wishes on your retirement. So a round of applause for Milo. Milo, I know you're anxious to talk, but I'm just going to open up for the trustees first. If anybody wants to say anything.
Milo, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for all you have done in the past, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you.
Milo, thank you so much for your service to the village. You've always been
a ray of sunshine. You're always very optimistic, positive, and great to interact with, and you will be missed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Milo,
Yes.
I'm going to miss you. There's a lot of people in this room here tonight just for you. And it's a fitting way to start off a nice long meeting, get the good stuff in front. You know, everything that has been said is 100% accurate. Your commitment to this town, a town that you live in and love in an even more personal way, shows through. And we're just all better off having been able to see you on the streets, in those holes, in those vehicles, doing what you do in any weather, at any time of day. It's impressive. We really have just great talent in this town, and it's hard to see someone who's been here for much longer than I have go away, but happy to see that you get to do it on your terms in full health. You look great. And,
Thank you.
and I hope that you just have a wonderful time. But you know, if you're in the area and you see me out, come by. I have a couple questions about my catalpa tree on Goodman. You know, see what you think about it. See if I should trim that back or what I should do. I'd love your advice. Just
I
kidding.
will
Have a
always
great
ready.
time.
I'll be always ready to help.
Milo, I'd just like to say, when I first met you and as I've come to know you, you remind me of a silent storm. And what I mean by that is you are a man that is very quiet, but very powerful in the things you do, the work that you get done. So you remind me of someone, you know, very, very smooth, easygoing, but someone that is a mighty power. And I would just like to say congratulations to you and best wishes to you in your future endeavors.
Thank you very much.
God bless.
Okay, what I can say, you guys said everything, and I'm really glad and happy that you guys think about me like that. And I'm a resident of Grange, and I will continue worried what's going on. I already prepared my successor, so he will take care of the trees and whatever need to be done. And I already meet him this morning, and I see he professionally, you know, do the job. So I'm so glad that I'm a part of that. So just thank you guys so much. I now see how much I mean to you guys. So, but I know I was mean always because I was always have a good handshake and look straight, and you guys always thankful what I do here, all around, and thank you very much. You, like I said before, you guys my family, so if you guys see me, always I'd be glad to say hello, how are you, what's going on, and if I can help, I can, and I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Milo. You got to lead us in song, though.
It's not easy to sing now because it's so emotional, but I will do a little because you guys wish that. Mannato sole, più bello in me, o sole mio, sta in fronte a te, o sole mio, sta in fronte a te, sta in fronte a te.
Fantastic. Come on Arbor Day. We need you. We need you. It really is. business? I mean, do you want me to have a vote right now? Or is it, I don't see where I was supposed to. Okay, before Mila leaves, we do want to make sure that we do this officially, and that is we have that proclamation. And so I would entertain a resolution to approve the proclamation. And a second.
Motion to approve?
Thank you, Trustee Augustine, Trustee McGee. And we can do that, I assume, by a voice vote? So then, all in favor, I'll steal Clerk Saladino's job here and say, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Hearing none, obviously it passes unanimously. So Clerk Saladino's going to take care of that paperwork. And while he does that, I'm going to move on to item B. Under item B is the report for appointing the trustees for presentation and liaison trustee assignments. Annually, trustees are assigned responsibilities for presentations and serving as a liaison to the village commissions or advisory boards. The upcoming assignments are presented and include, and if I got any of these wrong, you wanted something else, please let me know. We can try to make a change. But Economic Development, Trustee Gale. Finance, Trustee Augustine. Intergovernmental Relations is myself. Planning and Zoning is both Trustee Thompson and Trustee Peterson. Public Safety is Trustee O'Brien, and Public Works is Trustee McGee. That again is for responsibility for board presentations. As far as liaison assignments, we have Community and Economic Development Commission, Trustee Augustine and Trustee Thompson. Design Review Commission, Trustee O'Brien. Environmental Quality Commission, Trustee Gale. Plan Commission, Trustee Augustine and Trustee Thompson. The reason was I was waiting to hear, so actually only one of you, and do you have a preference, Trustee Augustine, since you're here, on which one?
Oh, I was really hoping it was kind of a real double there.
Unless you wanted both double up and just pick which one, you can do it that way. However you want to do it.
Let's leave it like that for now.
I'll
talk to him when he gets back.
Yep, no problem there.
Okay.
And Zoning Board of Appeals, Trustee Peterson. With regard to moving on to C, appointment and reappointment of individuals on advisory boards and commissions. The Board of Fire and Police Commissioners includes reappointing Brian Boersma for a term that will expire in 2028. On the Community and Economic Development Commission, it includes appointing Megan Gage to a term expiring in 2027 and reappointing Justin Hansen, Camille Hall, Steve Nazar for terms expiring in 2028. For Design Review Commission, it includes appointing Fernandad Demolich to a term expiring in 2027 and reappointing Matt Dvorak to a term expiring in 2028. For the Environmental Quality Commission, it includes reappointing Akruti Leva, Lori Braun, Brandon Simic, and Amanda LaMonica Weir to terms expiring in 2028. For the Liquor Commission, this includes appointing Trustee Gale to a term expiring in 2026 and the reappointment of Trustee O'Brien for a term expiring in 2026. For the Plan Commission, this includes reappointment of Greg Pace as chair for a term expiring in 2028 and the reappointment of Jeff Hoffenberg to a term expiring in 2028. For the Zoning Board of Appeals, this includes reappointing Liam Bresnahan to a term expiring in 2030. Provided there are no objections, we will move forward with those appointments. Trustees, thank you for your support. I do appreciate that. Moving on, as most of you know, and hopefully all of you, the annual Grange Craft Fair was held on July 12th and yesterday, July 13th. It was well attended and, as always, proved to be an excellent showcase for the many talented artists and craftsmen we have in our region. There's no mystery as to why it is highly regarded and considered one of the top 200 craft fairs in the country. There's something for everyone, and the treasure trove of handcrafted goods are lovingly crafted by artists from across the country. Thank you for everyone that visited LaGrange to participate. It's truly one of our premier summer events. I wanted to thank the village staff, the village staff for all their support, not only of this event, but of all the LGBA events that they do. And again, obviously, thanks to the LGBA for another fine event. We see the fire department in the back. Thank you for your help And again, to all the public servants, we do really appreciate it. The Native Plant Tour. The LaGrange Environmental Quality Commission and the LaGrange Park Sustainability Commission will host the 2025 Native Plants Tour on Sunday, July 27th, from noon to 4 p.m. Participants are welcome to walk, bike, or drive to participating locations, which will be marked with a yard sign. I'd like to extend the village's gratitude to these commissions for organizing this excellent event. And for more information, please visit the village's webpage on green initiatives. Flood mitigation. We have a lot of friends, neighbors, fellow residents from Dry Up LaGrange here tonight, and other people that are very interested in the efforts that the village is taking to mitigate our flood risks. As I've mentioned, I am happy to provide an update on several key mitigation efforts that are ongoing. The 50th Street Storm Sewer Project. The 50th Street Storm Sewer Project will expand stormwater system capacity for 5 low-lying depressional areas, all located south of 47th Street. The main trunk line is designed to run from Wyola Avenue to East Avenue and is approximately 90% designed, which includes the recent addition of some water main improvements. The sewer outlet into the quarry is entering the final design, with an amendment to the task order for engineering work to be considered later on this agenda. The project has been initially reviewed by IDOT and MWRD for permitting. The second round of comments is to be sent to MWRD. Elements of the projects are subject of consideration at the appellate court. We're still waiting for the appellate court to either schedule oral argument or issue its ruling. We're hopeful that it'll soon, and we've been hopeful for months. So it's our hope that by the end of the summer, we will get a ruling, but again, we have to wait for the appellate court to rule. With the next project is what we call the Lyons Township High School storage project. The LTHS storage project consists of an underground storage system that will be constructed under the Lyons Township soccer field located at Elm and Edgewood Avenues. As envisioned, this project will provide approximately 10 acre-feet, and that translates into 3,260,000 gallons of stormwater storage. It is 95% designed, with final coordination needed with the high school for schedule and field surface grading requirements. The village is working diligently with the high school, which has been a helpful partner in this effort. The other big factor is financing. We did secure $2 million of financing, but we're short some money. We're continuing to work with our legislative leaders, both in Washington as well as in the state, and we sure would like some county help too. And we're hopeful that we're moving forward. The MWRD has been helpful in working with us to secure funding. And again, we remain hopeful. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers combined sewer system rehabilitation. The village is also working on a $2 million Army Corps project, which consists of lining approximately 13,000 linear feet of combined sewer at various locations throughout the village. This work will serve to rehabilitate old or deteriorating sewer pipes by inserting a liner that hardens to form a new pipe within the old one. The project is 90% designed, and construction will be based upon U.S. Army Corps of Engineers workload and schedule, but lining hopefully will begin this fall. Beyond these projects, the village undertakes a robust maintenance program to ensure that the village sewer systems are cleared of debris, that defects are identified, and that repairs are made. Over the past 2 years, the LaGrange Public Works has televised and cleaned over 20,000 linear feet of sewer, spent over 1,000 hours cleaning catch basins, averaged over 2,000 street miles swept per year, and lined over 5,200 linear feet of lining, again, that interior of the pipes. The village is also incorporated stormwater management into commercial and residential developments. Any almost any commercial development that's being built has to make a great improvement in water retention, and we've done a great job with that, as well as some of the big residential construction projects, making sure that they're holding water during those peak flow events. Managing water on site lessens the burden on the village's municipal stormwater systems. And over the past 2 years, LaGrange has permitted and inspected 16 storm water management dissipation systems throughout the village. The village has also provided financial assistance to over 50 homes through the Sewer Backup Prevention Grant Program, where the village reimburses 50% of the eligible costs. And again, I want to highlight that because sometimes we're asked as board members, what has the village done? And this really is something that we worked with the county to help support. And because of those funds that are made available, the village will pay for 50% of the costs, up to a total of a commitment of $5,000 by the village for an overhead sewers. Again, overhead sewers aren't really overhead, but they're raised up several feet from your basement floor. It prevents flooding into your home. And at a 50% reimbursement, it's a great deal. It won't be able to be remaining outstanding forever. And we really encourage homeowners to take advantage of this and make this improvement to prevent their basements from flooding. For a less expensive alternative is a backflow preventer. Again, the village will pay 50% of the applicable costs. We previously required 3 estimates. We've changed that to just 1 estimate because we know and staff knows what these projects should really come in at after doing 50 of them. Again, I can't encourage homeowners that don't have overhead sewers or backflow preventer to install these and really take advantage of the 50% cost share. Those are the highlights related to stormwater mitigation efforts the village is currently undertaking. We look forward to continued progress in seeking relief from the impacts of flooding on behalf of LaGrange residents. And you'll have, the people that came out today will have the opportunity to speak when we call for matters that are not on tonight's agenda. Lastly, as a reminder, at the conclusion of tonight's meeting, the village board will take a break for the summer schedule. This means that we will not have meetings on the next 2 dates when a meeting typically would have been held. That would be the 4th Monday in July and the 2nd Monday in August. The village board, next village meeting will take place on August 26th. We wish everyone a great rest of their summer and look forward to seeing you back in late August. I do want to mention earlier today, I came from a wake for Stephen Kent. Stevens was a resident of LaGrange Park, a longtime football coach at St. Francis. At his wake, there were thousands of LaGrange residents. He was a special guy, and he'll be missed. With that, I would ask if there's a manager night for manager's report.
There is. Thank you, President Kukler, and good evening, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank the members of the village staff who put an effort to ensure that the village was looking its best for this weekend's craft fair. I'd also like to extend this appreciation to all the staff that was involved in planning the event, as well as our partners over at the LGBA. I'd also like to share that public parking will be available throughout the summer at the Cossett School of Blacktop, just north of the school. And we're appreciative there of our friends over at School District 102 for helping us to arrange for parking during the busy summer season. Lastly, I also wanted to share that Cook County will be hosting an open house at LaGrange Highlands August 4th at 5:30 p.m., and that is to discuss the Plainfield Road construction project. President Kukler, that concludes my report.
Thank you. And one item that I left out is Cairo. I think it's Ypes. Why don't you go to the podium and properly introduce yourself since I'm butchering it. Cairo is a recent hire by Congressman Chuy Garcia. He's a constituent service liaison, and he came out today to introduce himself. And what he's going to help with is so wonderful. I wanted to make sure people knew.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cairo. I'm with the office of Congressman Chuy Garcia. I just got hired about a month ago. I was an intern beforehand. Can you guys hear me okay like this? So I'm a constituent services liaison.
But talking to the microphone because
Okay.
at home they're not going to hear you otherwise.
Oh, okay.
So maybe turn around or something, but however you want to do it.
So I'm a constituent services liaison. That means I can help out with casework and any outreach services you guys might need. So if you guys are thinking of an event hosting here in LaGrange, in terms of business development, veterans affairs, military affairs, be sure to reach out to me. And I'm here. Our office, we have an office on Archer and Kedzie in Chicago, and we also have another office in Melrose Park. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Right, and again, Cairo is able to assist with Veterans Affairs, Social Security questions, and things like that. So please do reach out to Congressman Chuy Garcia's staff, and thank you for coming, Cairo.
Thank you.
At this time, I would ask Clerk Saladino to read the items under the consent agenda, followed by those appearing under current business.
Matters on the consent agenda will be considered by a single motion and vote because they already have been considered fully by the board at a previous meeting or have been determined to be of a routine nature. Any member of the Board of Trustees may request that an item be moved from the consent agenda to current business for separate consideration. Item A, a resolution authorizing the renewal of the master agreement with Baxter and Woodman, Inc. for professional engineering services. Item B, a resolution authorizing the renewal of the master agreement with Christopher B. Burke Engineering Limited for professional engineering services. Item C, an ordinance authorizing the disposal of personal property owned by the Village of LaGrange. Item D, an ordinance amending Title III of the LaGrange Code of Ordinances to establish an administrative process for public safety employee benefits. Item E, an ordinance approving a final plat of re-subdivision for 901 6th Avenue. Item F, an ordinance approving a name change to the name of Linklater Court to 48th Street. Item G, July 14, 2025 consolidated voucher. Item H, minutes of the Village of LaGrange Board of Trustees regular meeting, June 9, 2025. Item I, minutes of the Village of LaGrange Board of Trustees regular meeting, June 23, 2025. Current business. This agenda item includes consideration of matters being presented to the Board of Trustees for action. Item A, a resolution approving change order 2 for task order number 270 with Baxter and Woodman for the 50th Street Storm Sewer Outfall Final Reconstruction Design. Item B, an ordinance for approving a zoning code text amendment to change the special uses in the I-1 Light Industrial District. Item C, an ordinance approving a special use permit and site plan for party supply and tent rental with outdoor storage at 15 and 17 Beach Avenue. Item D, a resolution ratifying a collective bargaining agreement between the Village of LaGrange and IAFF Local Number 2338. Item E, a resolution approving the extension of an agreement with Flood Brothers LLC for recycling and refuse collections. Item F, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of McCook and City of Countryside for the sharing of streetlight electricity cost. Item G, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Brookfield and Village of McCook for the reimbursement of electricity cost. Item H, an ordinance establishing a grocery retailer's occupation tax and grocery service occupation tax. I believe that's it.
Thank you, Clerk Saladino. And I'm going to change what I said earlier. That says that the people that are here to talk about flooding can speak when items that are not on our agenda. That's at the end of the meeting. We do have that Baxter and Woodman item. That's item A. So I think that fairly gives us allowance for people to that want to speak on flooding to speak earlier in the meeting than waiting to the end. So with that, I would ask does anybody have comments on tonight's agenda, including any flooding issues? And again, please state your name and your address.
Hi, my name is Steve Coppell. I appreciate the update about the flooding. Just want to get some clarification if I could. So the plans, the engineering plans, et cetera, are nearly completed and waiting for approval from whom?
Yes, so with regard to the 50th Street Storm Sewer Project,
Correct.
under item A, we'll be introducing, and I'll, I guess, answer it this way by reading what I would have said at that time. Baxter and Woodman, with the assistance of Chris Burke Engineering, CBBEL, have been working together to find the best solutions to the 50th Street Storm Sewer Relief Project. After 2 years of collaboration, they are ready to begin the final design stage and preparation of construction once permits are received. CBBEL subconsultant Black & Vitich has expert staff geologists and engineers well-versed in the technical aspects relating to the design outfall. That's where the water is going to be going into the quarry. Black & Vitich is able to gather structural aspects of the quarry that will serve to inform the design despite the challenges of accessing the site while the appellate court case remains pending. Budget funds for this expenditure were included in the approved 2025-26 budget and the capital projects fund, and staff recommends approval. We are still waiting for permitting approval by MWRD and IDOT because we go under East Avenue.
And so it's been several years. I'm just curious, why are we still waiting? Like,
Sure. It's probably been more defining several, maybe closer to a couple of years that we've actually started with the permitting process. We didn't begin really the permitting process until we were successful at the trial court. It's a big project. It takes a lot of engineering. I'm not sure if the engineering amount has exceeded $1 million, but it's a lot. And so it's beyond $1 million in engineering that's been spent. It takes a long time.
So it seems like we've gotten pretty much to that last, to the finish line, the last mile. Use whatever turn of the phrase you want. This seems like it's an open? It can happen next week. It can happen next year. I mean, it's just. Is there any mechanism to understand timing? I think, we're basically at the mercy, of Mother Nature. Whenever she decides to dump 3 or 4 inches of rain on an hour on us, it could happen tomorrow. So understanding from this, group to help us understand, is there an end in sight? Like, do we expect that this is going to be wrapped up by, and if there is no, how do we pressure whomever needs to be pressured? What can we do to help? Because we're just kind of feeling like it's been a few years or a couple of years, and there's clearly nothing is, there's work been done behind the scenes.
Sure.
But we're up against that last bit of it, and how do we get over the finish line?
Steve, I think what you're saying is you haven't seen a shovel in the ground yet. It's been a couple of years. You haven't seen a shovel in the ground. When are we going to see a shovel in the ground? And I understand the frustration. I understand the desire to hear a date. I don't have that date. It's my understanding that we'll have a better timeline after the village meets, when we're going to have a very large meeting to talk about a bunch of the capital improvement projects. But if you or Director O'Brien have anything to add on that, feel free.
Not a whole lot other than to mention, obviously it's pending the legal outcome of the appellate court case. So that really has been one of the things that we've had to navigate throughout this.
So that's, I guess, my next question. Sorry to interrupt.
Despite that being the case, we have proceeded with the engineering. The outfall is one of the last pieces that needs to be designed to have the project designed to a point in which we could go out for bid and get some bids in. We originally were targeting around fall this year. We still kind of have that within our sights, fall to early winter. So we are proceeding along with that timeline.
So I think also one other thing we heard here today that was kind of new news to us was the fact that the pending appellate court decision prevents us as a village, not us, but prevents this project from actually beginning. Is that?
No, I don't
what
think
we
that's
heard?
accurate. I don't think I said that, and I don't think that's accurate.
Okay.
It's really two parallel tracks. In a perfect world, we would get a decision before, spending more money, but there's not a prohibition that the appellate court has to rule. We're hopeful, though, to beginning construction. I think I said when I was talking about the 50th Street storm sewer, sometime in 2026. And we're hoping to get a decision from the appellate court before that.
So there's nothing, the appellate court decision is in no way, the pending decision is in no way preventing the village from actually putting a shovel in the ground.
Correct. There was no court order saying that we can't put a shovel on the ground.
Okay. And finally, again, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. Is there a way for us to be updated a little bit with some regularity? Is there a mechanism for the village to kind of update us as the citizens on the progress of like this last mile, if you will?
Sure. We've kind of, and it's been really me since I became president in February of 2020, right before we knew of COVID. And that's when the case was tried and the decision of how frequently to give the updates and what to say. There was a time where I was saying every meeting, but there's not a whole lot to report. I'm not sure how valuable it is to report. We've gone from 70% engineering to 73% engineering. Once I think that we finish with the expert consultants about the outflow, that seems like a perfect time to say, okay, it's designed, here's what it's going to look like. Anything that would happen at the appellate court would immediately be told to the public. Any dates when we can say, okay, this looks like now we're going to be able to go out to bid, then will be definitely relayed. And we'll do it. We
via
should
these
do.
meetings?
I'm sorry, what?
Is the forum for that communication these village meetings?
Yes, it would be communicated at the village meetings. And we do usually include any major update on our webpage, and we would be looking forward to doing that also. But I do think that at a minimum, quarterly, it makes sense that we're saying, hey, we're still waiting for the appellate court decision, or it's still in that 90%, we're waiting for the engineer's report. I do think there's at least quarterly where residents get anxious and want to hear something.
And there's nothing we can do as citizens to put pressure on MWRD or anything? Like, I'm just making sure that we're all
I think there's really one thing that kind of, but it's multiple, and that is both thanking and asking all of our elected leaders for support. They've been supportive. Congressman Garcia has been supportive. Congressman Caston, who's holding a town hall meeting this month here, has been supportive. Again, State Senator Porfirio has been very supportive. Frank Aguilar, Cook County Commissioner, has tried to work and did secure that money for overhead sewers. So, and then the MWRD commissioners, they're elected. Reaching out to them, asking for more support, thanking them for their support to date, but asking for more is helpful.
Right.
I do strongly believe that our elected leaders are very interested in LaGrange's flooding, in large part because of Dry Up LaGrange and the number of members that are part of that Facebook group. They understand votes, and it's very helpful that it's organized and that you're able to do that.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Laura West, 140 Sunset. I'll just comment quickly on flooding. It's just unfortunate because this problem has been going on for decades and decades. Boards before you, boards before them. This is not new. And our town has grown. Things have contributed to the problems. New construction, bigger houses, climate, name it. The infrastructure just hasn't kept up. I'm very encouraged by the hard work of the board, the generosity of our elected officials and the progress that's been made that I've seen in more action-oriented steps in the past 2 years. But there's still nothing yet. There's no answers yet. I think of boards 30 years ago, maybe with great ideas, and nothing happened. So I think LaGrange is a wonderful community, great place to live. When it rains, we are all terrified. That is no way to live, no way to continue, and it's just, like you said, a matter of timing, and it will happen again. It will happen soon. So the urgency is there. I appreciate all the hard work. We just really want to get some of these projects to the finish line and allow us to enjoy a summer Midwest thunderstorm without everyone just panicking. So those are my only comments, but thank you for the updates. I think it is very appreciated, and hoping that there's more positive ones in the future.
Thank you, Ms. West.
John Pluto. I live at 718 East Avenue. I was listening to all the conversations about this 50th Street sewer, and we talked about this 2 years ago, how we were going to shoot the water right into the quarry. What is our outfall going to be in the quarry? Do we know that?
I know during the trial there were estimates of outflow, but I don't know what it is.
Well, I thought I read in the documents of the court that it was going to be 54 inches, which was the sewer that went across the quarry. That was our combined sewer overflow that came off of 49th Street and serviced all the people that live up west of LaGrange Road. So I believe some of the blame here has to go with the Corps of Engineers, because they told us we could not send that water, that contaminated water, to the Des Plaines River any longer. We never had a problem at East Avenue with flooding before that. But when we got hooked into the tunnel, that 49th Street combination sewer, which takes all the water of the south side of LaGrange, is just inundated because it goes to a 54-inch pipe at East Avenue, and then when it gets to the tunnel shaft, it's a 30-inch restrictor in there. So the water backs all the way up Sedgwick Park, goes to this 5th depression, the 4th depression, and all the way up to Linkletter. So we're not going to get any relief from this flood control until that quarry on the other side of the Stevenson gets done. And that's the unfortunate truth. Now, you're going to send 54 inches of stormwater out to the quarry. Where's all the South Lyons Township water going to go to that's coming out that pipe now that's 3 foot? Can somebody explain that to me? You're going to fix that problem, but what about us? Where is our water going to go? That 36 inches, you got 54 inches, you only have a few more cubic feet that you can stick out there. Where are you going to put all this water? I'm not understanding it.
Oh, yeah, we're relying on the engineers. That's all I can tell you.
Well, engineering got us into this fix, okay? You know, before we had all these problems, we had brick streets with combination sewers. And then they took all the brick streets out in town, and now we got asphalt. So, you know, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot there. I'm just worried about the people on my end. You're going to fix the west end, and then all of a sudden, we're going to get stuck with all the water down by us. And the other question that I have for you is, the people in LaGrange can get help with overhead sewers. How come the people that are in LaGrange that are in South Lyons Township cannot get that?
I'm not sure if we could make that available I think originally the way it was designed was because they pay into a different sewer fund, so they had different things. But it's an interesting point, and if we have funds available, maybe we can expand it
How is this program funded?
by the county.
Okay, so we live in Cook County too.
Yeah, that's why I tried to just answer you.
Yeah, but why would you
It
reject
wasn't originally
some-
funded by it wasn't originally funded by the county. It was originally funded by the village. And we put the program in place, and then the county came forward with funding. But maybe now that's.
Well, are we going to work on getting that? Because I know a lot of people in my area that.
I think it's
that
an
could use
interesting
it.
idea. I think we should look at it.
You know, there's a young couple rehabbing a house, and I said, well, go to the village. And they said, we looked into it, and it said South Lyons Township, no go. I mean, we're part of this village. You know, I know we don't pay into the sewer tax, but if it's funded by the county, we should all be part of the same program.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda and a second?
I move for approval of consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale, Trustee O'Brien. Any trustee comments? Oh, I hear somebody flagging me. What did I do wrong?
Yep. My recommendation would be to move item 5C off consent because it requires a 2/3 vote. And so you will need to vote on that item.
Okay, so let me ask for a different motion. That would be a motion for everything under the consent agenda except for 5C, which will be, I'll read as part of current business. So can I have another motion?
A motion for 5C, everything on the consent agenda as presented with the exception of 5C.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee McGee. Any comments regarding that motion?
Well, as previously stated, I recuse myself from voting on any agenda items related to the village prosecutor, and no other questions.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Any other comments? And just so we're clear, 5C was removed, the ordinance authorizing the disposal of personal property owned by the village of LaGrange, correct? Thank you. With that, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee O'Brien,
Aye.
Trustee Gale,
Aye.
Trustee McGee,
Aye.
Trustee Augustine,
Aye.
and does the president have to vote on this
Not
motion
on the
or
consent.
just the second one? Okay, so motion passes.
Thank you. Next up is current business. As we get into the current business, I'd like to request that item E be considered first to accommodate the schedules of representatives of Flood Brothers that are in attendance tonight. Are there any objection to moving item E to first on the current business? Seeing none, I would ask that item E be first, and item B will be moved to Trustee McGee. It's the resolution approving the extension of an agreement with Flood Brothers LLC for recycling and refuse collection. And we do have two individuals from Flood Brothers in attendance if there's any questions. With that, Trustee McGee, can you introduce that, please?
Me. Give me 1 second.
Trustee McGee, if you're having trouble reading it, I can read it. It's up to you. I've had that happen myself.
In 2020, the village executed a 5-year agreement with Flood Brothers LLC for refuge and recycling collection services. The agreement expires July 31st, 2025. The agreement provides for a 5-year extension of the agreement if agreed by both parties. Leading up to the expiration of the current contract, the village's Environmental Quality Commission was engaged to provide feedback regarding current services and to develop a list of interests pertaining to the contract extension. Staff presented their interest along with other operational and cost consideration in discussions with Flood Brothers regarding an extension to the agreement. After the negotiation, staff and representatives of Flood Brothers LLC have arrived at extension terms that are acceptable to both parties. Several cost and service level objectives have been met in the terms of the proposed extension. This includes Monday and Thursday pickups are retained. Households without two-wheeled recycling carts will be provided a new 65-gallon recycling cart featuring labeling, providing guidance on acceptable and prohibited materials. 35-gallon carts will be available on request. Organics program enhancement includes participants in the yard waste and food scrap program having access to a 35-gallon organics cart with clear food scrap labeling. Year-round food scrap collection to be further explored as the program develops. Updated collections guidelines will be provided by Flood Brothers with mail updated collection guidelines booklets sent to participating households to provide clarity on proper collection procedures and materials. Universal service stickers will be introduced for simplicity of use by customers and to reduce administrative burdens of maintaining separate sticker types. A single sticker will be used for refuge placed outside carts, yard waste, and spring cleanup materials. Vacation hold program will be incorporated, allowing residents to place their account on hold for up to 3 consecutive months, once per year, provided the balance is current at the time of the request. The agreement, the agreement terms include a modest 3% increase on subscription services, which serves to address cost drivers in providing services under the contract, which Flood Brothers has indicated include the Teamsters Union contract expiring in the fall of 2028 and annual increases in disposal fees. The agreement also includes provisions for an initial increase in the cost of stickers of 30 cents for the initial year of the contract, with an additional 10-cent increase in 2 years and 3. Backdoor services also increases from $111.60 per year to $155 a year. Staff and representatives from Flood Brothers have worked diligently in arriving at contract extension terms that meet several village objectives. For references, Flood Brothers Chicagoland area references include Oak Brook, Riverside, Carroll Streams, Wooddale, Rolling Meadows, and several others. The budget: introducing recycling carts for all households and eliminating open-top recycling bins results in approximately $3,500 in annual savings. Staff recommends approval of the proposed resolution approving an extension to a contract for residential collection, transportation, and disposal of general refuge and collection and processing of landscape waste and recyclable commodities. I move that we accept the proposed recommendation.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee McGee and Trustee O'Brien. Any discussion regarding this ordinance? Trustee Augustine.
Thanks. I just had a couple questions, and I don't know if we answer that or if Flood would need to, but probably we can. Can you explain to me a little bit better, the open top bin is going away? I have some friends and neighbors who use that, so it sounds like that will now not be allowed as people have used from the previous carrier where those were instituted.
Correct.
But they will be given for free, or they will have the right to purchase a recycle bin?
So let's deal with both of those. The recycle bins that have been used for decades in LaGrange will no longer be used. They do cause problems. There's a lot of blowing trash and things like that. The village has to replace them at our cost, and that's not, again, it's $3,500 a year. As part of the negotiations, Flood Brothers agreed to provide those carts at their cost, no cost to the resident. It's pretty nice.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
And President Kukler?
Aye, and I vote on this because we need the majority. Thank you. And that passes. I appreciate it. And thank you to Flood Brothers for coming out tonight. Thank you for your continued service. Thank you to staff and Flood Brothers for negotiating a contract that's very fair to both parties. I do think it's worth highlighting not only the recycling bins, but the previous contractor was Republic. The Republic was charging more when their contract expired than Flood Brothers is charging today, 5 years later. And that's an enormous savings to our residents. Again, Flood Brothers was here during the onset of COVID when people were home throwing out a lot of their things, and they picked all that up without ever asking us for a surcharge, where it's my understanding a lot of haulers were asking for surcharges. So I think it's great that we renewed this. I know that our EQC has asked for some continuing improvements. I would like to see what we can do on that composting, on a year-round, and what we can do that works for both the hauler as well as our residents that are interested in that. And I know it's not part of this thing, but I also am very interested in what we can do on trying to get our leaves and maybe some wood chips all into a compost pile. But we'll be working on that with the EQC going forward. So thank you. Next up is, well, I was going to go to the consent agenda item, which is item C, was it?
Yep, 5C.
An ordinance and I'll introduce it if I can find it. An ordinance authorizing the disposal of personal property owned by the Village of LaGrange. The personal property that we're talking about are surplus vehicles, a 2021 Ford Explorer, actually three 2021 Ford Explorers, all sport utility four-doors, a 2017 Ford Explorer sport utility four-door, and a 2012 Ferrara H5010 MVP. These have been deemed to be surplus and not suitable for continuing use by the Village of LaGrange and will be sold as provided in the ordinance. I would ask for somebody to move this ordinance and a second.
I move for approval of the ordinance as presented.
Thank you, Trustee Gale.
I'll second.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Any questions, comments on this? Seeing none, I'd ask Clerk Saladino for a roll call vote, and I need to vote.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
President Kukler?
Aye. And this passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving to A, under current business, which maybe you can help me if that's handy by your stack. Thank you. Thank you, Village Manager Knight. A is approving a change order 2 for task order with Baxter and Woodman. I really have already read this again. This is the Baxter and Woodman has been working with Chris Burke for the last couple of years on the design. We're at 90%. Really, the outflow needs a subcontractor, subconsultant, experts, Black and Veatch. And so this task order would be to hire them. And with that, I would ask somebody to to move for this to be approved.
I move that this proposal be accepted
Second.
or approved.
Thank you. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, before I ask for a roll call vote, I do not vote on this, correct?
You do not vote.
Okay. With that, I'd ask Clerk Saladino for a roll call vote.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Next up is an ordinance approving a zoning code text amendment to change special uses in the I-1 Light Industrial District, and I would refer this to Trustee Gale.
Thank you, Mr. President. ZZI Ash, representing Chicago Tent LLC, the applicant, is the tenant at 1517 Beach Avenue. The applicant is requesting a special use permit and site plan to include outdoor storage as accessory to its tent rental business. Because outdoor storage accessory to tent rental businesses is currently prohibited in the zoning code, the applicant is also requesting a text amendment to the zoning code to allow outdoor storage accessory to party supply and tent rental businesses as a special use in the I-1 district. The Plan Commission reviewed the proposed text amendment, special use permit, and site plan on June 10th, 2025. No members of the public spoke at the hearing. The Plan Commissioners agreed that outdoor storage for tent rental and party supply businesses can support local businesses and meet the goals of the comprehensive plan and zoning code when such outdoor storage is regulated through a special use permit process. After deliberation, the Plan Commission voted unanimously 6-0 to recommend approval of the proposed text amendment as refined by staff. So staff is recommending approval of the proposed ordinance approving a text amendment to add outdoor storage accessory to party supply and tent rental businesses as a special use in the I-1 zoning district as reflective of the Plan Commission's recommendation. And I move for approval of the text amendment as presented in the ordinance.
I'll second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale and Trustee Augustine. I know that the applicant is here in the front row if any trustee has any question. And so I would ask if there are any trustee questions. Seeing none, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you for your investment in LaGrange. We do appreciate it, and we look forward to your continued success. Thanks. Up on item D is a resolution ratifying a collective bargaining agreement between the Village of LaGrange and our firefighters and local IAFF local number 2338. And I would refer this to Trustee O'Brien.
Well, Mr. President, yes,
I skipped one.
We skipped one.
Yes.
While we approved the,
Sorry about that.
what we need to do, Mr. President, is we need to approve then their special use. So we amended the code, but we have not approved their special use.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Gale. I do appreciate it. Item C under current business is related to item B and is an ordinance approving a special use permit and site plan for party supply and tent rental with outdoor storage at 1517 Beach Avenue. And I would ask for an overview, or is that already done? Are we ready?
I'll do it quickly. I'll simply point out that, so first what we've done, we've approved the text amendment. Now we actually have to approve the special use permit for the applicant. That's really it. I would move for approval of the special use permit as presented in the packet.
Thank you, trustee Gale.
And-
Did I hear a second from trustee O'Brien?
And to clarify, it's also
Oh.
the site plan approval, so it's an ordinance approving the special use and site plan.
All right, so I'd amend the motion for an ordinance approving the text or the site plan and special use permit.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Gale and trustee O'Brien. With that, any discussion? Seeing none, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, and that passes unanimously. Again, under item D is the resolution ratifying a collective bargaining agreement between our firefighters and the Village of LaGrange, specifically IAFF Local 2338. And with that, I would ask trustee O'Brien to introduce this item.
Thank you, President Kukler. The International Association of Firefighters, or IAFF Local 2338, represents firefighters and lieutenants serving in the village's fire department. The current collective bargaining agreement between the village and the IAFF expired on April 30th, 2025. Prior to the expiration of this agreement, village staff and union leadership worked collaboratively to address the objectives of both parties. Efforts were also taken to restructure the contract document for clarity and ease of administration. Union membership voted to approve the agreement on June 19, 2025. The agreement would become effective upon ratification by the village board. Funds were included in the improved fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for costs associated with the agreement. I recommend approval of the proposal resolution ratifying a collective bargaining agreement between the Village of LaGrange and IAFF Local Number 2338.
I second.
Thank you, trustee O'Brien and trustee Augustine. Any comments regarding this before voting? Seeing none, I would ask Clerk Saladino for a roll call vote.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Again, I would like to thank our staff and our firefighters for working professionally and working together to get the contract entered. We do appreciate your services. And we're glad to have this entered. Thank you very much. E's already been considered. Moving to F, a resolution approving the intergovernmental agreement with the Village of McCook and Countryside for sharing of streetlight electricity costs. The Illinois Department of Transportation is currently performing improvements at the intersection of 47th and East Avenue. As part of these improvements, various infrastructure components will be replaced. This includes 2 streetlight controllers which manage and regulate electricity to streetlights located along 47th or East Avenue. To energize these controllers, Commonwealth Edison has indicated that an account holder needs to be identified to pay the electricity costs associated with powering these streetlights. Controller 2 power streetlights found within the jurisdictions of LaGrange, McCook, and Countryside. Of the 40 streetlights powered by Controller 2, LaGrange has the most at 17, followed by McCook at 14 and Countryside at 9. Representatives from each community have conferred and have agreed to the municipality with the most streetlights associated with the controller serving as lead agency. The lead agency will in turn provide its account information to ComEd. LaGrange would serve as lead agency for Controller 2 and participate agency for Controller 3. Budget impact. The expense is estimated to be $1,560 annually and is included in our 25-26 budget. Staff does recommend approval, and I would ask for a trustee to move this in.
I move for approval of the intergovernmental agreement with McCook and the City of Countryside as presented.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Gale and trustee O'Brien. With that, any comments, questions? Seeing none, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
G, I believe, is a resolution for approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Brookfield and the Village of McCook for reimbursement of electricity costs, similar to the last one. It again is for 47th and East Avenue. It's for electricity to streetlights. This one, the funds for this expense is going to be estimated at $200 annually, and we do have room in our budget for the $200. So with that, I would ask for a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Brookfield and the Village of McCook for reimbursement of electricity costs.
I move for approving the intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Brookfield and McCook for reimbursement of electricity costs as presented.
Second?
Thank you, Trustee Gale and Trustee Augustine. Any questions, comments on that? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
And last up, under current business, we have H, an ordinance establishing a grocery retailer occupation tax and grocery service occupation tax. And I would refer that to Trustee Augustine.
Thank you, President Kukler. Certain food products sold in grocery stores, most food products sold in grocery stores, and other food stores, which are generally foods meant to be prepared and consumed at home, as well as qualifying drugs and medical appliances, are subject to a 1% state tax. Municipalities currently receive the full 1% tax on these sales. Public Act 103-0781 repealed the statewide tax on groceries effective January 1st, 2026. Instead transferred the authority to impose grocery tax to municipalities. This means that the village has the authority to maintain the 1% grocery sales tax by enacting a local ordinance. For reference, in 2022, LaGrange received approximately $325,000 in sales tax from businesses within the food category, which is a category principally comprised of businesses that are likely to have a high percentage of sales qualifying for the lower 1% tax. As this revenue source is an important component of the village's revenue base, the continuation of the grocery tax by the adoption of the attached ordinance is proposed. Funds derived from the approval of the ordinance are estimated to be, no surprise, about $325,000 annually. Staff has recommended the approval of the proposed ordinance establishing a grocery retailer's occupation tax and grocery service occupation tax. I motion to approve as stated.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee McGee. Any discussion on this matter? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on, that is it for current business. So we next have up public comments regarding matters not on tonight's agenda.
Hello again. Hello. John Pluto, 718 East Avenue. I was just at the Park District meeting, and with the contamination that they have going on at Sedgwick Park, their solution to the problem is going to be to dump 3 feet of dirt over 5 acres of the park. Now, that park already dumps a ton of water off onto 49th Street. Is the village got input in this to help us on this matter?
I believe that the village staff has been meeting with the Park District staff on this matter. I don't know if there's anything to update on that.
No, there's really no updates. They are, need to meet specifications by the EPA. So when they're remediating a site or otherwise, making sure that the contamination's not going off-site, they need to meet EPA regulations. We certainly are monitoring that, working with them, but our jurisdiction is in different aspects of that project when it comes to permitting and other things of that nature.
Okay, now that particular problem there is associated with the gas plant from across the street, I would imagine, because many of the chemicals that came up on the preliminary test are the same chemicals that were at the gas plant. I guess the question is the gas company and the power company responsible for the remediation of that property, since it's associated with the gas plant. It could be. Now, dumping 3 foot of dirt over the top of that park isn't going to help us out at all. It should be remediated properly. And if you look at the tests, there's 24 soil bores on that whole park. There were 19 on 2 acres where the gas plant was, 24 on 22 acres. Well, guess what? 7 of those are out on the street. So how much contamination do we really know about that's in that park? I said to the people at the park district that the 10 catch basins that are in that park that hold water and have mud and dirt in them should be examined. They should be taken in and tested to see if they contain benzenes or any of the harmful chemicals that are there. Now, the village of LaGrange has a stake in this as well, because in 2010, they put a water line across to the Bluff Avenue project. So they disturbed the earth that went across that whole park. So now you people have a responsibility in there as well. You own an easement that's there. Correct on that? You do have an easement?
I don't know, but you got to wrap up your comments, please.
I think this is pretty critical, because if we have contaminated groundwater that's rolling back by the bleachers where all the people sit and the little kids play in the stones, those benzenes cause cancer. Do we want to be absolutely sure that that park is completely clean, or don't we? You know, this is 2025. Would you put your grandkids on the ground over there at the park and let them play with their trucks and cars? I surely wouldn't. I think it's a sad state when all they're worried about is how much it's going to cost. No. What's a life worth? What is a life worth? $1 million? $2 million? I don't know. I'm not a personal injury lawyer. But I think that everybody that's up there should be thinking about this, that these people from the park district should be held, their feet should be held to the fire on this, and it should be done correctly. And if they want to hurry up and get it done, you know, there's water running into the quarry across the street. I have pictures from 1996 from the Huff report. Is that water contaminated? Is it coming from the park? Are we being a bad neighbor to the quarry? There's people that work down there. All these benzenes that are in that soil are cancer causing. Anybody on the Public Works Department die from any cancers that are related to bladders? Because our Public Works Department dug up that water line on the side of that retort building in 1986. That's when they first found out about it. So I think we better start figuring out how to fix the problems around here instead of kicking them down the street. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pluto.
Hi, I'm Kathy Heiderman in Homestead Apartments. I came to talk to you about 2 different things. Can you hear me okay? One is the intersection of Ogden and Grange Road. I, for years, have been noticing that usually about 3 cars go through the intersection heading south on LaGrange, turning east onto Ogden. And usually 3 cars keep going after the pedestrians, which I am, get our walk light. It wasn't until recently that I realized it's because they turn at the same time. So exactly when the green arrow turns to a green light is exactly when pedestrians are told that they can walk. And besides the fact that we don't have that much time already to walk, It also gives us a possibility of an injury, of an issue. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. The other is that I take the train to and from work. I saw what happened at the train station with the truck getting hit by the train recently, and I was wondering if maybe we could do more there. I just started a new job. I've only been going today's my 10th day, and I've already seen 5 issues, and that's just one person at one time each day during that rush hour. So, and I can tell you any explanations that you want, but the short of it is that just people are walking when they shouldn't. They stop on the tracks to talk and decide which way to go. Cars are still stopping on the tracks because they refuse to just wait on the light. And I'm wondering if we could maybe have a cop that is stationed in that area at the most busy time, which I think would be 7 to 9 a.m., at least on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are by far the most busy times when these things happen. They're not the only times that these things happen, but at least it would be a start, would be my hope. Any questions?
No, well, thank you for coming out. We appreciate it. I know that walking that path, I've done it plenty of times. Crossing Ogden can be tough in the mornings, tough in the afternoons also. So I do appreciate that. And I'm also a train commuter, so I know a little bit about what you're talking about is people that, sometimes, I saw it this morning, run across gates down at Stone Avenue. And so obviously it's dangerous. We discourage it. As far as officers, our police chief does do heightened, or the department does heightened safety and moves around to different areas. And I'm sure Chief Griffin has heard your concerns and will work those areas into the schedule. There would never be a way where we would have a police officer assigned every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for looking for this, indefinitely. Okay. We do get that request though at schools during school time and intersections, just traffic blocking Ogden and LaGrange Road and things like that. We have limited resources and we try to use them as efficiently as possible. But I do appreciate your comments. I know that Chief Griffin heard them and will incorporate it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Seeing no other public comments, I would ask if there's any trustee comments. We will be going into closed session after that. Seeing none, at this time, the village board intends to meet in closed session under the provisions of the Illinois Open Meetings Act and Section 2C1 to consider the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body. Section 2C5 for the acquisition of property, Section 2C11 for the purpose of discussing pending or probable litigation, and Section 2C21 for the discussion of minutes of meetings lawfully closed under the Act. The village board will not reconvene to open session as no formal action will occur following the closed session. May I have a motion and a second to enter into closed session?
I move we enter into closed session.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale and Trustee McGee. I'd ask Clerk Saladino for a roll call vote.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
And that motion carries. Do we enter closed session now, or do we wait till we're downstairs to say that we're entering closed session at such and such time? Perfect. Thank you. And I wish everybody an enjoyable rest of the summer. We will see you officially at the end of August, the fourth Monday. Thank you.